Liberal lies on peacekeeping. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. Do you remember back during the election, heck, even before the election, the Liberals were going around saying they were going to restore Canada to its rightful place as a UN peacekeeper? Heck, even when the Prime Minister went down to New York to the UN headquarters in March, he was promising a return to peacekeeping.
We are determined to revitalize Canada's historic role as a key contributor to United Nations peacekeeping, in addition to advancing current reform efforts.
And now Justin Trudeau's Liberals are catching up to the reality that everyone else that's looked at the situation has realized for a couple of decades now. That the very nature of peacekeeping has changed. We've known this a long time. It started to change back in the 1990s when a guy named Jean Chrétien, a Liberal, was Prime Minister. The peacekeeping operations in Bosnia and Kosovo were nothing like standing between warring Turk and Greek Cypriots on the island of Cyprus and just keeping the peace. It was about making peace. Things changed. So now, our Defence Minister, Harjit Sajjan, currently in the middle of a tour of Africa to find a spot to put Canadian troops in a UN mission, he's admitting as much. In an interview with the Globe and Mail, he's catching up to reality. Let me read you his quotes. Shocking quotes when you consider how the Liberals have always portrayed themselves as wanting to go back to that blue beret era that doesn't exist anymore. But here's what Sajjan, a former military person himself, is now saying. I think we can definitely say what we used to have as peacekeeping before is no longer. We don't have two parties that have agreed on peace, and there's a peacekeeping force between them, he told the Globe and Mail in an interview. Even using the terminology of peacekeeping is not valid at this time, he said. Those peacekeeping days, those realities do not exist now, and we need to understand the reality of today. Well, that's what every observer that's looked at it in the past few decades has said. That's what the Conservative government said. And yet all through the election, leading up to it, and since the fact that Canada was no longer the leader in blue berets was used as a stick by the Liberals and their media allies to beat up the Conservatives as being out of touch with Canadian values. No, it turns out they were very much in touch with Canadian values, and they had caught up to reality. Finally, Trudeau has. Of course, maybe he knew it all along. Maybe his defense minister knew it all along. Maybe their media allies knew it all along. And this was just another stick to beat the Conservatives with, another Liberal lie to harken back to days that don't exist anymore. It's a sad wake-up call for Canada, but at least it's happening now before our troops are committed to some godforsaken mission.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.